What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. The video is entitled "The White House Response to Deadbeat Claims." So I forgot the name of the radio station. The lady and a man, something skiing something. Sorry. So basically, they did a story about the whole situation with Dwight Howard and his son. And then, come to find out, Dwight Howard calls the station and talks to one of the female hosts off air, and then he calls the station on air. So, truth be told, he handled the situation like a person who's been dealing with media for a very long time. And in some ways, it's my fault, it's their fault type of situation. But they talked about the deadbeat thing, and he said, prior to the bubble, the son that went on social media was living with him for 3 months prior to him going back to the bubble. So not when he was in the bubble, he was basically with the son that mother just died. That died recently, rather. So this became problematic. And I remember listening to the young man's video when he was like, my mom will give me a phone and you take it away. In my mind, I was like, okay, so if his mother gets him a phone and his dad takes it away, that means he's with his dad. And they asked, what about what's going on in a relationship with the kid's mother? He's like, well, he's not going to disrespect them publicly. He's not going to disrespect his son publicly. Now, the issue with that is this. In a sense, he took the higher ground, and somebody could assume, he took the higher ground because he's been doing dirt. Oh, but at the same time, he's just taking the higher ground because he ain't finna put them on blast on TV because he's like, it's things that's going on that's personal. And, unfortunately, people don't want to take into consideration that this shines a light on the timing of the situation. There's something wrong about somebody doing something that people recognize as a good thing and then somebody coming out immediately to disparage them. There's also something wrong about using a situation where a person died and now you're kind of somewhat jealous of that person's interaction with their father because their mother died. You got your mom. Like, wow, like, that's your brother. Your brother's mother just died. You're sitting in the house with your mom, and you kind of made it about you because of that situation. The kid probably don't see that way, but the parents should have seen it that way. Even when people comment that the only reason that he's in the kid's life because the mother died, well, full-time, yeah. He's not in. He wasn't quote unquote full-time with any of the kids. So the interesting thing about that is that's most fathers, because 90% of the time, 9 times out of 10, if a man and a woman have a child together, 9 times out of 10 the woman gets custody. So to play this game as if you're not in the kid's life, you're not there every day, especially with a group that you can make an accusation. One of the reasons that those are the type of people who wouldn't want Dwight Howard to be in the kid's life every day, because that would mean they wouldn't need child support because the kids be with their daddy all the time. That's the rub about these situations is, there's his side, the mother's side, the kid's side. And then you got to find out what the truth is in that whole pot of gumbo. But the interesting thing about that was he was just trying to say, clear his name in the sense of, look, I do this, this, and this. But he was basically also saying it's personal. That's why I say he handled it like somebody who's been in the media. Because when somebody takes, try to push you out there publicly, now you got to actually respond publicly. But he didn't respond in a way where he could have just threw him under the bus. Because I got a message yesterday on that video, and I said that, the lady had that baby for clout, and I forgot who it was. They responded, and it was like, so you telling me these women are just out here having babies for checks? I'm like, well, I'm saying a woman who had a child with a person and who wound up on Basketball Wives is the poster child for having a baby for clout. You get what I'm saying? So I hate to say this, but that's that group's normal scenario. Anybody who's been on that, I can't say everybody, because there were people who got kicked off of that show for not clout chasing or not having drama every day of their lives. So there was like 2 or 3 women who just, I'm not finna do all that. But the rest of them, they was on it. So to think that she doesn't have that in her is kind of weird. So to me, I get it. I thought it was 8 kids by 5 different women, so my bad. So from my understanding, it's 5 kids by 5 different women. So he got 5 kids. That kid's the oldest. And he wanted to be with his dad during the playoffs. But his brother was with his dad. And it kind of like a, sibling jealousy rivalry thing. That's what it looks like. And the moms are tripping. The reason that I'm glad he responded is because now people got to put 2 and 2 together, because their initial dig at him and his response in a public sense, will make people go, well, he's responding like he ain't really trying to blast y'all as if he could. Y'all came out as if with blasting him. So people know there's something under the surface. Now people could be cynical and be like, maybe he's not blasting them because he know he's wrong. Yeah, it could be true. But he probably not blasting them because if he blasts them, then it's gonna make him famous. And he ain't finna, why? Why respond? It's like a battle rap from a MC on a lower level. Like, if I respond to you, I'm gonna make you famous. So how about I just, try to dead the energy? So to me, it was a cool look. Some people gonna get upset about the child support part, about the payment, but I think that's relevant because he says, his kids goes to the best schools, got him everything he ever wanted, which that always comes back to bite people in the butt, because a lot of these kids need to not have all the best stuff and go to the best schools because they kind of get spoiled, or they don't challenge themselves, or they use their parents' clout to coast by, so you don't really get a true sense of what they're actually capable of, or they don't. But that's a whole nother story. But I'm glad he responded, and especially I'm glad he responded in the way he did. If people take it right or wrong, he responded. He said what he said, and going back to it, the point where he said prior to the bubble, his son was with him was living with him for 3 months. And if people go back to the mom and be like, is that true? It's going to put her in a real pickle. So like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.